What's going on, guys? This video I'm going to cover NFL Week 1 big time sleeper picks, big time value picks, GPP picks mainly, except for Amendola and the Cowboys, which I would play in cash games. I just think they're way too cheap for this week, so I'm including them in this video. But the rest are GPP picks. I would not play any of the other guys in cash games. And I'm making this video just because if you're playing the Millie Maker or the $3 with hundreds of thousands of people in it, I think these guys are a great way to differentiate yourself from the field, because these guys should all be low owned except for Amendola. And if you look at the winners of the Millie Maker, the guys that are going to come out on top, they're going to have low owned picks, at least a couple, and I think there's a good chance we'll see maybe one or two of these guys in the winning lineup just because they have so much upside and they should be cheap. But that being said, let's get right into it. If you guys are new to my channel, please hit the like button and subscribe. Also, you can check out my NFL website for Week 1. All the information has been finalized for Week 1, so if you're interested, everything is up on the website. You can just click the Become a Member tab and create an account on the site, and you should be good to go. So looking to crush Week 1 and just the whole season in general. So getting back to the sleeper picks, first up, I like Sam Bradford at quarterback at 5,200 is a big-time sleeper. Bradford is playing for his job with Josh Rosen right behind him. If Bradford just doesn't look good, he's gonna be out of a job. And the former #1 overall pick in 2010, he's been pretty good. He just always is hurt. So in this matchup against the Redskins, he's playing at home, which I like. He has David Johnson back, which is gonna reduce so much pressure off of Bradford. And Johnson helps Bradford so much because Johnson is a great pass catching back, and Bradford can easily just dump off to David Johnson, and Johnson can rip off just like a 50-60 yard gain. So that's going to help Bradford a lot in the red zone too. Easy passes to Johnson as well as Fitzgerald. So at 5,200 as a GPP pick, I don't think it gets much better than Bradford at 52. For the running back sleeper value picks, I like Carlos Hyde at 45, extremely cheap. He is the #1 back for the Browns. He's playing at home. He had a great preseason. And at 45, he's just too cheap. He's going to get the touches around the goal line because Duke Johnson is just a pass-catching back. So at 4,500, Carlos Hyde, coming off a great season he had with the 49ers where he almost hit 1,000 rushing yards. He does have some decent upside here, and this price tag is very low. So I would not hesitate to take some shots at Carlos Hyde on GPPs. Next up, at 4,100, Peyton Barber. He's won the starting job for the Bucks, and in this matchup, it's going to be a high total game against the Saints. The Buccaneers, when Peyton Barber was featured for the Buccaneers, he had a couple of good games here. He should get 15 to 20 rushes, as well as he does play a decent role out of the backfield. As you see, he just gets some receptions out of the backfield, which is great. Once again, at the goal line, it's going to be him. Jaquez Rodgers is just a change of pace guy. So at 4,100, if you're looking for a punt GPP running back, I wouldn't hesitate to play Peyton Barber. He's just super cheap, gives you some upside as well. And then some low-owned wide receivers that I love this week for GPP. Albert Wilson, 3,700. No Devontae Parker this week. Wilson just signed a 3-year, $24 million. Lots of money for him with the Dolphins. This is a perfect chance for him to perform. The Dolphins have 3 wide receivers primarily now with Parker out. It's going to be Wilson, Kenny Stills, and Amendola. Amendola is a weapon in the slot, so I think Wilson is going to line up as a starter on the #2. So he should get some options here. He had a big game last year, so he does have upside, and he's going to get a lot of targets. He should be on the field for the whole game. And at 3,700 with all the chalk going towards Keelan Cole, I think Albert Wilson at 3,700 makes for a tremendous pivot. Another low-owned value sleeper pick I love is Mike Williams. He's dirt cheap at 3,900. This guy was the 7th overall pick in last year's draft. He was hurt. Injuries derailed his career, but this guy is looking like a breakout candidate this year. He had an amazing training camp, amazing preseason. Phillip Rivers loves to sling it at home. I absolutely love the Chargers offense this week. Mike Williams should get a lot of targets right there behind Keelan Allen here, and Williams has big play upside. He's a big wide receiver that will play a factor in the red zone here, and I'm expecting the Chargers to put up a bunch of points here against the Chiefs at home. So at 3,900, I would definitely consider playing Mike Williams if you're playing some of those max entry GPPs, just because he's going to get no ownership and he does have a huge ceiling. Another guy that's going to be a great pivot off some chalk of his own teammate is going to be Dante Moncrief. Moncrief is going to be the starter for week 1, him and Cole. Everybody's going to play Cole just by looking at the game log and just with the chemistry. But it's DFS. Anything can happen. If you're playing the ownership game, without a doubt, you would play Dante Moncrief here because Moncrief is another guy that's going to play a big factor in the red zone here. Without Marquise Lee, this Giants defense was not great last season. So even though Bortles isn't much of a passer, he did look pretty good last year in some situations. It's a good spot for Bortles. And Moncrief at 4K, going to get no ownership because everybody's going to play Cole. Moncrief can easily catch a touchdown or two and have a big game. And you're going to get so much leverage off of the field if you play Moncrief in a GPP instead of playing Cole. So I think Moncrief makes for a very smart pivot in some tournaments. Sleeper tight end I like this week is Ryan Griffin. Fedorowicz is gone. The Texans just released Stephen Anderson. So Griffin is going to be the clear #1 option at tight end, at least to start the year. And the Patriots do have some good cornerbacks here, like Stephon Gilmore, who might disrupt some of the wide receivers like DeAndre Hopkins. If he's locked up on him, Hopkins might not have a great game. And Hopkins hasn't had a great track record versus the Patriots. So in goal line situations, if Hopkins is double teamed, maybe Ryan Griffin gets the target in the red zone. So Griffin at 2,800 as a punt tight end, low-owned tight end play. I don't hate it. Danny Amendola at 4,200. He's not much of a sleeper, but he's an insane value play this week. Without Devontae Parker, Amendola is just a target machine. Tom Brady loved this guy, and Tannehill he doesn't throw the deep ball that much. He's more of a kind of short to intermediate guy, and Amendola is perfect for that role. So in this spot here, I'm going to be locking in Amendola. He's my favorite cheap wide receiver this week since the Devontae Parker news broke. So I would lock him in GPPs and cash games. This guy is good chance to get 20-plus points this week at only 4,200. So I love Amendola. And then the Cowboys defense as a punt defense here, I don't hate that at all. Cam Newton always has turnover issues. They are playing on the road, which isn't great. I usually like to target defenses that are playing at home, but at 2,300, the Cowboys defense just sticks out in that pack if you're going punt. Here, they're playing the Cam Newton and the Panthers here. And Newton last year threw 16 picks, which was extremely high, and just didn't have a good year. A bunch of fumbles as well. So if the Cowboys pick one of those interceptions up, they could take it to the house, and right there, your defense pays off at 2,300. So I like the Cowboys as a super cheap defense this week. So that does it for this video. Hope you enjoy the sleeper picks for GPPs. None of these guys are cash game viable except for Amendola and the Cowboys defense, both of which I wouldn't hesitate to play in cash, but the rest I would stick to playing them in a few GPPs if you're making a bunch of lineups, or if you're just playing one $3 lineup, I wouldn't hesitate to play some of these guys just because they have so much upside and you're competing against so many guys that you're going to need to have some low-owned plays that go off. So hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my NFL website if you're looking to join the team. Thanks for watching, and good luck this week.